All right, welcome to part two of tonight's weekly test show. So I've decided that I'm going to go and take care of The Price is Right at night while it's airing live here. I'm going to finish the first half on mobile, and then I will move on to doing the second half of it on over on the cable box. So looking at the logger, it looks like Fort Worth did not try again. But, of course, you know the rules. They don't test. We keep monitoring them until they do. Plain and simple. All right, now we're going to try something different here for this next one. Where was it? Yeah, this one. we're gonna put Talking Ginger the cat and everything else against it. So let me go ahead and hide the panel. Put the cat back on screen. And here's the thing. Now, let me go ahead and unlock the iPad. Well, it's going to go to the Showcase Showdown, and then it's going to move on to the that's going to move on to a 4-minute commercial break. So, all right, so I'll go ahead and take a moment and explain what's happened so far. I want to watch that part. And then I will put Elkhart back onto my phone. Well, on my phone rather. So yeah, of course today's lab assignment was quite simple. It was just setting up some virtual machines and everything like that. Let me tell you, the last one, trying to get that Windows 11 virtual machine to download, oh, it was quite a challenge. I mean, I just didn't have enough patience. In fact, I got too impatient that I just downloaded the updated 25H2 disk from Microsoft, installed it in a virtual machine, and then it was halfway through updating on the out of box experience when I finally saw the 24H2 virtual machine finally finished downloading completely. So then I scrapped the 25H2 VM I was already setting up and set up the 24H2 one, but now I know the difference. So the one that I use for the lab assignments, that's 24H2. The one that I use for everything else, that's 25H2. So, as there isn't really too many visual differences between 25 and 24H2, except for maybe the code base. But then, of course, later tonight we will play Deal or No Deal. Well, that is if Brandon's up for it. If not, then we'll fill in something else. Yeah, we'll find something else to fill in the space. Whether that's going to be Yu-Gi-Oh or something. And I was thinking I could take care of the flip side and the perfect lines at night too, but I mean those are 15-minute programs, so you know what? I don't know if we should wait till 9:30 or something. Maybe we can wait till then, but I don't know. But you know what? I want to leave something. You know what? I actually want to leave something to actually watch. So, but you know what? Yeah, I'll probably if I want to take care of the perfect line tonight, I will. But I'll think about it. All right. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let Tom and Ben get to work. Actually, I've got a better idea.
Actually, I've got a better idea.
Let's do this again. Oh my gosh. Oh, what fun.
Oh, what?
Okay, let me stop Tom and Ben here for a moment. I realized that yeah, I almost forgot about Amtrak Chief number 3 because it left because Chief number 3 left pretty freaking late. WPSU tested so freaking late as well. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything ready for tonight now, so that way I'm not scrambling. Oh, there's that episode of Classic Concentration that I finished on the way. Now, let's go to Mendota here, because I want to see when... oh, I misspelled it. Let me fix the spelling. There we go. Chief number 3 was quite late. 1828 was when it showed up. And then I think that was the last one. Alright, and then that was the last one, because Builder number 7 was canceled today. I saw the Evening Borealis, saw Zephyr number 5. So yeah, quite a lot of issues on Amtrak's system today. But otherwise, that's it. We are done with Amtrak-wise. And in just a moment, we are going to get on with... We're going to get on with the rest of our show here. I see TJ's been live for a while. He's trying to revive his Wii U, in which the disk drive has stopped working, which is a very critical component of the console. Because I mean, you can't play games on there if it can't read discs. So yeah, that's definitely a big problem. Well, when I want to do all the other Wii stuff, that I have proposed, like Wii Wheel of Fortune or Wii Deal or No Deal, becoming a series at some point in the future, I better hope and pray that my Wii U still works after sitting disconnected from power for months on end. Okay, I see I received the script. Let's see what else here. Okay. I will, okay. So I will take a moment and take care of the voice line before we go any further. So I will take a moment and take care of it before we go any further. All right. Now I will take care of I'll go ahead and take care of the voice lines now, and then we will continue. All right. I did the best I could. All right, so I will go ahead and send that over now. It's not going to be until tomorrow that he sees it because it's likely not going to be until tomorrow until he sees it because he went offline. So I will send it over now. Okay, so he's got the line. Because because he offered, because this is part of his latest scenario that he's working on. So this is actually part of his latest scenario that he's working on. And he offered me the creator actually offered me the last available role. So I went ahead and took advantage of the opportunity. So I've taken the last role in that scenario. So now I will. So now I am taking part in this scenario, although only for that one section. But I mean, this is actually going to be the first. Although it's a small part, this will be the first time I get to participate in a scenario under the new branding. Speaking of the new branding, I had realized I forgot to change an element when we did the rebrand. I forgot to change an element. And it's that little thing. It's that little thing at the bottom. But this goes along well with what I said, because there would still be some traces left over. Now, where's the... Oh, here we go. Change. Let's see if I can adjust it. Okay, there we go. All right, that was the only change I needed to, that I still had to make. So now that is fully done. Before we go any further, let me go ahead and update the. Let me go ahead and throw in the Thursday documentation. All right. So I went ahead and took care of the Price is Right in prime time, so that's all done. So now all I just have to make up, and I also took care of tonight's Perfect Blind while I was at it. So all I just have to take care of tomorrow then is the episode of The Perfect Blind that the You did not get a chance to air, as well as the Flip Side episode from earlier tonight. So of course tomorrow morning I'll take care of that Perfect Line episode. Then I'll take care of Flip Side in the afternoon, and then of course I'll be caught up for the time being until Wheel of Fortune and Trivial Pursuit and Scrabble comes up. But like I said, the plan is I'll watch the first half of Scrabble live and then watch the second half, or just keep watching it until the end. And then when I get home, get the ball game started, and then whatnot. I'll then watch all of Trivial Pursuit from the very beginning. And then as for the Perfect Line, I guess it'll depend on what kind of time we have in between when I started the ball game and afterwards. It'll be at that point where then I will put together the rest of it. Will be afterward where I then get to put together the rest of the Yahtzee episodes that I'll record tomorrow, as well as watching the Showcase Beatdown and Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan-made series, which I plan on taking care of a lot of tonight. So anyway, before we get too far into anything, let's go ahead and take care of the word game. So here are the letters again for those of you who may have missed part 1. So they are I, M, N, Z, O, A, and B. So those are the letters. And of course what we like to do is pull up Google Translate and see how it actually pronounces these weird, egregious words. Alright, so which one should we try first? How about MIBOZ? Whatever this is.
My box.
My box.
MI box.
MI box. My box.
What about Zoab? Zoab. Let's see what it sounds.
Zoab.
Zoab. Zoab. How about MIN? OZ. How about BAZ? Minobaz?
Minobaz.
Minobaz. Alright, let's see. We have some more we can try. Let's try MON. BAZI, because this uses all 7 letters of the word. Let's see what this is.
Monbazi.
Okay, that's a crazy word. How about ZABIM? I know this is not like the way it's pronounced, but what the heck?
Zabim.
Zabim. Okay. Huh. That's a interesting translation. Let's try NA. Okay, no, I'm not gonna try that. I knew what the word is. I knew what word I was gonna try, but good thing I did not belt it out from all of it. All right, so how about instead? Let's try BAMOZI. Oh, let's add an N to it.
Bamozin.
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 That sounds great. All right. Let's see. Are there any other words I can think of? Let's try MOZ. BANI. Mosbani. Let's try this one.
Mosbani.
Mosbani. What else can we think of? You know what? I don't think I have any other ideas. All right. Well, there we go. There's your word game for this week. So now let's move on to our eBay scavenger hunt. Is that a Pokemon card I see? It's a Pokemon card. Up to 60% off laptops? You bet. Yeah, this is what we're going to be looking at first here in terms of this eBay scavenger hunt. Oh, here's a line we haven't touched base on in quite some time. The Vostro. Yeah, the Dell Vostro laptop. Here, it's a Vostro 7500 that's refurbished. There's a Latitude 5520. Here's a Latitude 3500 with an 8th generation that's compatible with Windows 11. There's a Dell Pro 14 Plus. I mean, wow, this is a fraction of what it actually costs. I mean, $700 for a refurbished AI PC. I mean, that is impressive. 64 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, although you could upgrade it. There's a Latitude Chromebook. There's a 9th generation Latitude PC. We can see what the actual model is on the back. So this is the 5401. And then we have a 7320. This is like Dell's attempt at the Microsoft Surface, sort of. You know, where the PC is actually a tablet, which is pretty cool. Here's a 9520 with an early 11th gen. As I can tell, it's early because of the Windows 10 logo being there. As later in 2021, they had the Windows 11 key. Like this one, like this Inspiron 5510, which was one of the first laptops to come with Windows 11 out of the box. There's a bunch of other ones. So I know they're all refurbished. Well, you know what? Let's see what kind of Vostros there are. We haven't looked at the Vostro line yet, so let's take a look. and see what there are. Here's a 5620 with a 12th gen i7 processor, and they wrote all the specs down on a sticky note. So this is a 256 gigabyte drive, but of course Windows detects it as a 238 gigabyte PC. And of course UEFI, Windows Pro, because it comes with Pro. That's what Vostro is. Here's a 5510. I think this was the same, almost the same one we were looking at earlier. Except this one has a dent, and the cover with the hinge cover is broken. There's another one that looks to be the same thing. Let's see, is this one in similar condition? Oh, this one's actually in much better condition than before. Here's that, we were just looking at that one, weren't we? Here's a Vostro 5620 with what looks to be the setup, what looks to be the start of the setup. So, there's a look at it there. Here's another 5510. This one actually looks in much better condition, but it says this is for parts and it does not power on. Of course, it does not include charger or the power cable. So this thing could be repairable. You send it over to a technician, they could see what the issue is, and maybe they could be able to fix it. But here's a 5502. This is one of the last Windows 10 PCs before 11. Here's a 5501. Let's see, you can see a little scratch on the display, but again, moderate signs of use, but it's in good working condition, which is of course what I'd like to see. Here's a 5410. Looking at it from an angle, that looks like a Windows 11 sticker. But that's a Windows 10 key. Here's a Vostro 5590 with a 2 terabyte NVMe drive inside of it. Of course, it runs Windows 11 Pro because it's compatible. This is a 50.6 inch 5510. Again, I think this is one we were looking at, or similarly. This is a Vostro laptop. I know Dell has done Vostro desktops. So let's see if we end up getting to the... Okay. Here's an older Vostro. 7th gen. And it does say it's for parts, but we can go down to the... It just says for conditions. But here. So it says it's for parts. And it says that, and it states that the device is locked by BitLocker security. So the owner does not have the recovery key. So when a user ends up in a situation like that, at this point, then the only way to get around it is to reinstall Windows. So yeah. So when a user ends up in a scenario where they're locked out of their PC by a BitLocker recovery key, and they don't have the key, well, at this point, then whatever is currently on that drive is, well, unfortunately lost forever. as then at this point, pretty much a clean install of the entire operating system is required. So that would mean all the previous data, all the programs, everything that was on there would be erased, and of course a brand new copy of Windows would be installed on it instead. But I mean, for just a single, for one who actually ends up getting this specific laptop, I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, all they can just do is just have a Windows USB ready, and they can just reinstall Windows and wipe all the data that was present on there. So they can just wipe all the data that was present on there, and then of course it'll be back up and running. But this is not that blue screen they were talking about. They were talking about the BitLocker recovery screen. And also this is a 7th generation, so it would be 10, not 11. So there's a Vostro 3420 that's running Windows 11. Confirmed by the sticker, that is indeed Windows 11. And if we go farther down the list, we have a 5490. Okay, it was just providing an update on the server, so. Alright, so 5490 Vostro, 10th generation. Now, these are actually all laptops. Why don't we refine our search to, this, Dell Vostro Desktop. It seems like most of these here are Optiplexes that we've been looking at. Here's this one. Here's the Vostro 3681. Now, personally, I don't think I've seen one of these Vostro. I have not seen any of these Vostro desktops in person, personally. Yeah. So, I mean, really, the only first experience that I've had with a Vostro PC was, of course, that Vostro laptop that I acquired in 2023, as I'm sure you all know. That was for the Nostalgia Paradise series, and then once we concluded, and then once that show ended, that was when I got rid of it for multiple reasons. One, it's difficult to even obtain to get to the hard drive to swap it out. It's not easy, and two, it is not even close to meeting the requirements for Windows 11. There's just no way. And the third reason is that you can no longer use a Windows 7 or a key to activate Windows 10 or 11. That was as of 2024, I believe, if I remember, or earlier this year. But whatever. Here's a Vostro 3030 that looks to be more modern. This one actually has this is a 2024 model. It says it's an i3 12th generation. This is the inside of it. So there's the NVMe SSD. I see you can put another hard drive in here if you so desire, which is something I'm looking to do with my other PC. I only have one secondary drive in there, but I want to put a third one inside. I want to put a second 2.5-inch drive inside. But I just need another SATA data cable that'll work with that has a connector that fits with the slots on the motherboard in order to make that happen. Here's a 3888 with only 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, although it says 512 gigs, which is false from what this states here. Windows 11 Pro, yep, of course it is. Here's a Vostro 3670, not an Inspiron 3670. This one's a 9th generation Intel chip, so it has Windows 11 on it. And there's the specs. Looking from the pictures, the specs match. The picture of the specs match what's on the listing. And then here's the back of it. You can see the HDMI port, VGA, 4 USB, Ethernet. This is like a tower PC, but then something like this one here Oh no, it was this one. This one's a small form factor. But I don't think that's the kind of term. Well, I guess that's the kind of terminology they use. But I'm curious to see what my father's school will have for me this year in terms of PCs that they're going to get rid of, unless they did a lot of it during the off season. But I guess we'll find out. All right. Well, let me close the damn door here. Okay. Now we have the Vostro 3471 small form factor machine. Oh hey, I see somebody decided to do it on an old-fashioned square monitor. I don't think this is VGA, but I don't see any trace of any internet connectivity. Well, it says Wi-Fi. Oh, is there Wi-Fi built into this PC? It's gonna come with an old-fashioned Windows keyboard. If we go down here, it says there's no webcam, but there is an optical drive. And where does it say about Wi-Fi? Integrated onboard graphics, small form factor, category SSD, most suitable for screen size. Well, it's a desktop PC, so that doesn't applicable. It says Wi-Fi connectivity. So I'm guessing it comes with a Wi-Fi card already inside of the PC. But there's no way to tell from the taskbar because it was disconnected from the internet when the picture was taken. Here's a 3671. Let's see what we can see in here. I see somebody put a graphics card inside. Only 8 gigs of RAM though, just one stick. And I can't really see the 250. Well, there is no SSD inside of this picture on the motherboard. And there is a 1 terabyte drive. Well, yeah. So this is the 256 gig SSD that's connected. But then there's also a 1 terabyte drive somewhere else. So the NVMe slot is unoccupied. So they put a 2.5 inch and a 3.5 inch drive inside. Here's another 3471. This one's running. And there's what it looks like with Windows 11 Pro. And let's see what else we have. Here's another 3670. This is another one of those mini towers. It says there's no GPU. So it says about GPU, but there's no dedicated virtual memory. I see there's still the factory label, the factory protection thing. And then here's the 8th generation sticker. There's a 3910. I don't think I've seen this one yet. This one's more modern. 12th generation chip, but this one does not have a hard drive and does not come with a power cord. So and then we have a bunch of other ones. This one's actually another new listing. This one's another more modern Vostro. This one's the i7 10th generation. Non-active ports. That's interesting. So this seal must have probably been installed from the factory. But I suppose there's supposed to be an HDMI port there, but I guess they must put that sticker over where there are inactive ports. So that is interesting to say the least. Now we have a 3470. This one is the 8th generation. Yeah, the 8th generation processor. So let's see what else we got here. Here's an old-fashioned Vostro. Hey, does that look familiar? Yeah, it's only a 470 though. 3rd generation Intel, 6 gigabytes of RAM, a 500 gig hard drive, but there's no OS on it. Here's an old-fashioned Vostro. Ooh, look at that. It's a Core 2 Duo with Windows XP. Service Pack 3. Of course, it's XP Pro because it's a Pro PC. And of course, it says its purpose is for retro gaming, and it says this is a 225 gigabyte drive. So, I mean, that's quite plenty of. I mean, that's plenty of space to store, you know, everything that you could possibly store. But of course, I mean, the only best purpose you could use an old PC for would be games. But I mean, if anyone would want to put Linux on there and then you're going to use that for internet connectivity, I mean, that's totally their choice if they choose. Here's another Vostro 470. This one was upgraded to Windows 10. And of course, here it is. The picture was taken. It was taken just. I think it was actually taken on Monday, the first day of the spring taping cycle. So this was taken after the end of Windows 10 support. I don't know if this is enrolled in the ESU program. I sure hope it is. Here's a rare sight. Here's what looks to be an open frame chassis of another Vostro 460 with all the parts. Some SSDs, some RAM. There's a Vostro 270, which I have not seen yet. This one has 4 gigs of memory, has 1 terabyte of storage, has been upgraded to Windows 10 from 7. Here's another Vostro. This one looks to be quite old. So yeah, it's a 3905. Has an AMD A8 processor, but no hard drive. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM. DO2M. I have not seen this. I have never heard of this one before. But looking at it, it's just Windows 7. It does not have a hard drive. So they'd have to find one themselves and, install an operating system. There's a 220 with a dual core. Vostro. So really, this is all we're seeing in terms of Vostro desktops as of right now. Here's another 5890, and this is what the back of it looks like with the cover over the unused ports. This one is actually, I think, a more later release because this one has the Windows 11 sticker as opposed to the Windows 10 one. So there's another Vostro with what looks to be Windows 7 Pro already installed. But, of course, the thing is locked by a password. And looking at it, yeah, there's a Seagate Barracuda 500 gigabyte drive in there. And how much RAM do we have? 2 gigabytes, 2 gigabyte sticks, so that's 4 gigabytes in dual channel. So that's really all we're seeing right now in terms of Vostro desktops. But, of course, who knows what might show up in the future. Who knows what might show up in the future in terms of other PCs. What else have we got? A 3681. This one actually does not have a majority of its components. It doesn't have the processor. It does not have the RAM. It does not have the hard drive. It does not have its caddy. Of course, the operating system, because that comes with the hard drive. Here's another Vostro i3, but looks like this one is setting up. And there's an HP keyboard that they're going to throw into the mix as well. This is what it looks like. It looks like that's the company label. But yeah, pretty much now. Alright, let's see here. Alright, let's see if we have a little more time for some more. PCs. I'll go ahead and pull his DMs up if he's ready. Well, he may not be ready right now, but we'll see. We'll see if he's ready later. I'm not gonna try and bother. I'm not gonna try and spam call him because I mean that would that would not be good. So I will. So here's the thing: I will give him 20 minutes, and if I do not see anything from him, then I'm thinking we'll extend the eBay scavenger hunt by another half hour. I did consider some possibilities. We would either do a Yu-Gi-Oh duel or two, or we would just extend this scavenger hunt by another half hour. So I'm thinking we'll just go ahead and extend it by another half hour. So let's continue. Let's continue looking here. But I think that's all the Vostros there are. Here's another one. That is a recovery. That's an OS recovery disc for this old Vostro. And it looks like this one's running Windows 10. I can see this one is running a Pentium dual-core CPU, and it's running Windows 10 Pro 21H2. Well, I mean here's what looks to be a lot of four Dell Vostros. These are all for parts. And these look to be all for parts. But it says that it has all of this stuff. It says there is a 1 terabyte drive in each. There's no operating system. But it does test, but it does power on. Well, they all do power on. It does boot to the BIOS. So while these are listed as for parts, these things actually do work. So all that's left to be done is to install an operating system on the drive. So or do anything else with it, like put in a NVMe SSD and then install an operating system on that. Or just stick with the drive that's already inside the machine and just throw Windows 10 or 11 onto that, or Linux. I mean, because I know some people are switching to Linux and prefer that over Windows, considering the state that it's been in for quite some time. Oh, and I never even cleared off the word game letters. I never cleared that off the screen. All right, so I think we got a couple minutes left, so I think we can look at a few more. But we'll see if he's ready. Well, I guess we'll keep going until he is. But if not, but if he's not ready by within 25 minutes, then we will move on to Yahtzee, and then we will conclude tonight's show. So here's another 3670 Vostro. Let's see if we can find that 1540 that I had before I gave it up. So let's take a look. Here it is. Here's the same PC that I had. i3. I can't remember. Did mine have 4 gigabytes of RAM? Well, this is the exact same computer here. Running very slow. Cause unknown. Well, of course it is. Because it's a mechanical hard drive. That's why. It's a mechanical hard drive and only has 2 gigs of RAM. So that's why it's gonna run pretty freaking slow. I mean, I could just throw an SSD in there and then it would run really, really fast. I mean, SSDs in some way are the saving grace, for old hardware. But the thing is, even from looking at Dell's support documentation, it is quite difficult to open these things up. Well, something like this. Here's a lot. Here's a 3 set, a lot of 3. Here's a 1540 that doesn't have any stickers on there, along with an Inspiron 15 and a Latitude 3580. And I think it shows all of the details. This one has a 7th generation, and then there's another one. I don't think it shows. I don't think it shows the I don't think it shows the latitude. Oh, here we go, it does. This one is a 6th generation, so those would not be natively compatible with Windows 11. Here's another Vostro. This one still has, I believe, its original factory installation on there. This one doesn't. This one still has its original factory install. This one looks to have its original install as well. Yeah, I can see the Dell logo. That is its factory installation. However, it says this is 732-bit, so this actually isn't the installation from the factory. Because the factory install with this PC is Windows 7 Pro Service Pack 1 64-bit. This one has 4 gigs of RAM, and it looks like it does not have an operating system. But if we take a look at the description here, but it says tested and working, but it says it's missing accessories. And of course, it doesn't have the original box because of how old it is. Is my father going crazy as usual? Oh, I thought that was. I thought he started a call just now. When I saw the online status. Okay. Um. We'll see if he ends up doing we'll see if he ends up starting one. If he does good, then if not, then because I don't know what kind of plans he's got tonight. So, yeah, I don't know what kind of plans he has this evening. So if he's busy with something, I don't think it would be best to distract him from those plans. So, because I think he missed his cue. So, but who knows? All right, here's one more Vostro. Yeah, his online status just changed to offline. Okay. All right. So it looks like Brandon is busy. So it looks like Brandon's busy tonight. Unfortunately, we will not be able to bring you. We will not be able to bring you Deal or No Deal this week. But that's all right because, as I said, we're going to extend the eBay scavenger hunt by another 25 minutes to half an hour to fill in the time. Oh my gosh, my father. My goodness, he's. Of course, he went crazy when I was talking about that one Vostro 1540 that didn't have a box. That did not come with a box. Oh, yep, of course. It's doing snow squall warnings. Oh, here's here's a crazy one. Here's a Vostro 1540 that's on Windows 11. And this one has an SSD inside of it. And I can tell that this is a old version. It's an old version of Windows 11. And here's why it is. That's the search icon. That's the meat. And then later on they integrated Teams within Windows, and now that's actually no longer the case because now on modern day Windows 11 installs when you get a new Windows 11 PC or when you install Windows 11 from a USB or wherever, right out of the box. Now all you get is you just get the full search bar, and then you'd have the Copilot button or the Copilot app, and then of course every other thing laid out. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, unfortunately Brandon will not be able to join us tonight. But that's fine. I know he's got plans tonight. We have plans tonight, so it's fine that we just let him do his thing, and then we'll get back to him, on the next week's show. Here's another 1540. It says this laptop boots on and boots up and goes into the BIOS, but this one says it is missing hard drive, keyboard, and RAM. It is missing those components. But here in the listing, it says there is RAM and there is a hard drive. So I suppose they took it out of the PC prior to selling it. And then right here is supposed to be the Windows 7 Pro. Is supposed to be the Windows 7 Pro license key. However, it looks like they peeled that sticker off. And then here's the Windows 11 Pro. It shows that it's a active license because it came from Windows 10. So of course it's Windows 10. So now the only form of license key that Windows 11 will accept is Windows 10. Because of course, as such, when I upgraded my small form factor PC soon after I got it, Windows 11 accepted the Windows 10 license keys that are already part of it. So The license keys were already accepted, and it is now activated, and they have been activated. So that's good to know. So, I mean, I could have just done the upgrade to. I could have just done the Windows 11 upgrade, but I wanted to do the factory install. You know, because it would come with because it comes with all the drivers and everything like that. You know, everything that we need. You know, it's gonna come with all the most of the factory software. You know, the software provided from from Dell. So meaning Dell Digital Delivery, Support Assist, Command Update, all that stuff. Just a plain Windows 11 install does not include any of that. And you have to go out and you'll have to go through Dell's website and find it manually for the device. All right. I think we're through with Vostro. There's another one. There are a bunch of these older Vostros here. Oh my gosh. Here's another Vostro with a Core Duo. Right there. Yeah. And this one is Windows 10 Pro. Looks like this one was another XP Vista or 7 PC. Of course, they upgraded it. But you know what? It was kind of nice to see. It was kind of nice to see a 1540 in my own hands. Now for a good couple years, but I mean, with the end of support for Windows 10, it was time to, get rid of it. Here's one with an older version of Windows 10, it looks like. 8 GB drive, 2 GHz Intel processor, Wi-Fi, and look at the sticker, Windows XP. Too bad I can't attempt that crazy experiment of trying to put Windows 10 on that Acer laptop, but, well, I mean, I could try, but it's pretty likely it's going to fail because there's only 512 megabytes of RAM instead. Here's a 13th gen Vostro. Of course, that's a Windows 11 key, so meaning it comes with Windows 11 out of the box. So it's neat that Dell was still doing the Vostro line, even well into the 2020s. So here's one with the Ryzen 7, Windows 11 logo. This one is 512 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. And this is running Windows 11 24H2. Now, this was actually the build number. This was the revision number that 24H2 virtual machine that I had to set up as part of today's class that I went to earlier this evening. I had to update all the way from this. All the way from this up to the January 2026 security update. It was actually part of the, and then it says damaged. The DC jack is damaged, but it does function, but it needs to be replaced. So, I mean, that's the only thing for parts, but otherwise the laptop works. All right, let's see what else we have. I wonder if there's any physical copies of Windows 11. Let's see if there's any physical copies of Windows 11 going around. Retro DOS emulator. Here's what looks to be a physical copy that somebody purchased. This one had like several of them. This is the Windows 11 Pro. That one's 2016 Home and Student. Here's another. Looks like this is actually a lot of 4 copies of Windows 11 Pro. So yeah, that's But then when I was thinking about server, maybe I could give it a go. Give Windows Server 2016 a go before it reaches end of support. So, but yeah, that's cool. I'll wait until January 31st, but And it looks like this one just went up. Here's another copy of Windows Pro. And of course this is everything separate. So that's the USB installer. That's the product guide. And then this is the little pop-out brochure, whatever. That says welcome to Windows 11. This is what you got to do to install it. And then that's the product key, which of course they have it face down, which is good. Somebody I think put a sticker over the Windows part of that logo on the box. But hey, there's the and then this is the back of it. Then it says get all the features of Windows 11 Home plus tools for business use. It says if your system was unable to install Windows 11 when offered the free upgrade due to system requirements, you will not be able to install this. So, yeah, good thing to know. This one looks to be a DVD, and it says this one is actually 24H2. So this is 11 Pro 24H2. Comes on a DVD, interestingly enough. I'm guessing it's one of those 8 gigabyte CDs. Because I mean that disc is quite large. Here's another Windows 11 Pro USB. But it says this one says it's a 6432-bit, but no, that's not the case. It is 64-bit only now. A recovery and repair drive for Windows 11. Oh, it looks like this one looks to be a brand new copy of Windows 10 Home. Interesting that we're still seeing Windows 10. And then there's the label on the USB to signal that this is a home license of Windows 10. And then right there is the product key. Well, that's only the first few parts of it. And then there's what looks to be, this is all the features on the back of it. Fast startup times and live tiles. At a glance, you're ready for doing with Windows 10. Well, all of this is good. Regular updates, well, not much anymore. There's a Zorin OS USB. You could make one yourself. Here's what looks to be a 5-pack of Windows 11 Pro. This is Pro. So this is Windows 11 Pro. So I mean the price is about right because a Pro license is it's about $200 for a license of Windows 11 Pro. And I'm sure if you all remember when I told you about the store, when I told you about the price about Windows 11 Pro being one of the items on one of the Perfect Line episodes last year, all around the time it started. I think it was around the first half of the season. Yeah, it was around the first half of the season when Windows 11 Pro was one of the things. So it looks like a majority of these are Windows 11 Pro. This one is Home with some screenshots of the operating system. Obviously, this is not what it looks like anymore because they have updated this. So of course, all that stuff is invalid. So there's another Windows 11 Pro. It looks like they've updated the logo on the USB. Of course, Windows 11. This one doesn't come with the box, but it just has everything you need. It just has the USB, and it has the product key. That's really all there is. I mean, if you just have the USB and the activation code, that's it. That's really all you need. So, So once you have that, then you're pretty much good to go. So that's the thing regarding Windows 11. It's interesting that we're seeing this kind of stuff show up on eBay. But now I would like to try a different one, something we have not attempted before. Searching for PCs on Goodwill. Okay, I don't think I typed it right. Let me, okay, I don't think I typed it correctly. Let me see. Alright, this is the one we were looking for. I just want to see... Let's just see what's on Goodwill. So we're going to do something new here. Yeah, just see what's on Goodwill. See if I can lower that down. There we go. Let's see. Categories. We can filter it by science. There is an electronic. Here we go. Computers and electronics. Just show me everything. Show me everything in this category. There's a 3rd generation Echo Dot. Three Amazon tablets. Let's see if we can filter it by brand. Price or location. Oh, computers. Here we go. We can just filter it by computers, and then we can see everything. Never seen this kind of stuff before. It's kind of interesting what you might find at a thrift store like this one here. There's a lot of 5 Apple iPads, but don't know what these what generations these are. But we can take a look down here. It does not show exactly what generations these are, but the only way we can tell is from looking at the back. Let's see. Here's a Compact Pro that has Windows 10 on it. A Linksys wireless router, Apple Magic Keyboard that's still sealed. There's a black Optiplex 760 that has not been tested. Oh my god, there's even a Cisco switch. Power A Pikachu switch controller. Ooh, there's a lot of interesting stuff on here. Here's a Dell Inspiron 3650. I can zoom in on the item and get a good look at it. I can tell that's a 6th generation processor. And then these are the complete specs of it. Says somebody put Windows 11 on there despite the requirements. Here's an HP laptop with a 1 terabyte drive, and it has Windows 11 on there. And I can tell it is 2020 because of the AMD stickers. So it is compatible. You may also like, I see a few other interesting ones, such as this one here, an Optiplex 780 Tower PC. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, these are literally great deals. Here's an all-in-one desktop PC for $11. Oh my gosh. Wow. It is just wild how it just absolutely blows my mind that, you know, you could get like a very good functional PC for way less when at a place like a Goodwill or a place like a Goodwill or somewhere else. But that is pretty neat. The 5378 iPad Mini 2, i7 6th generation, a Samsung monitor, an IdeaPad that has Windows 11 on it. And it does look like it is compatible. Yeah, it's the 11th generation. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. Just going to close this here. Oh, here's a set of 3 8th generation ThinkPads. This one does not have RAM or an SSD, so battery not included. AC adapters not included. But here it says, so these are actually all for parts. But it says these laptops do not power on and they're being sold as is. So pretty much essentially all those ThinkPad laptops are pretty much up for repair. So pretty much it could go to like a technician or someone who actually, you know, could repair those laptops for a profit. But I mean, it would be nice though. But I mean, with RAM, I mean, pretty much now in this day and age, it's very hard to even get even try to get any. It's a shame because I mean the thing is I wanted to put more RAM in my main PC before the RAM shortage, but well I guess now I can't. But or even my other PCs too. I now realize that both slots have been occupied in both PCs. So, which means now I'm going to have to sacrifice one stick of RAM in order to put another stick in. So maybe I could just buy maybe two 16 gigabyte sticks and then take out the 4 gig stick and, you know, I could just maybe reuse it in another PC some point down the line. So, I could, but who knows? And at least that could help with the memory leak issue that's going on with Weather HDS 1. That's probably never going to be fixed. But I mean my 3670 PC has otherwise been doing pretty well with the 12 gigabytes of RAM that's inside of there. It's been doing pretty well otherwise. All right. So, with that then, we are going to go ahead and move on to the final stage here of our show tonight. And I already have the Sorry Disc inside of there, so we can play it on Friday. Alright, so folks, here we go. We're entering the final stage of our show. That is, of course, playing Yahtzee. And then we are done. I'll keep Tom and Ben along with us as well. So, of course, we're going to play against the computer. We'll do difficulty as we usually do. When we're live, that is. Let's check on TJ's repair progress. Mark off chance first.
May find the following.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so it seems like they were not able to fix it, and yeah, as a result, they're gonna have to buy a brand new console. So. Yeah, it says invalid disk. So yep, it looks like he tried everything he could, but it seems like now his Wii U is, the current Wii U that he has is, well, has unfortunately bit the dust, so the CD drive does not work anymore, so. Well, maybe he could buy a replacement drive. Mr. C and Extra Math's Wrath? I want to take a look at that. Well, I don't need the train tracker anymore because, well, we've been through everything we needed to be through. I'm curious. Let's see. Replacement Wii U disk drive. There's a replacement laser lens. So, I mean, there are official parts, you know, replacement disk drives floating around on eBay. So I mean, what he could do is take out the broken disk drive, and put a new one in there. So I mean, you could just take out the old disk drive and put in a new disk drive, and it could work. So why did he not try that? That's the thing. I don't know why he didn't try it, but unfortunately that's the thing. Let's go for the 4s now. Well, too bad we already did the 5s, but let's see if we can make 3 of a kind. No, we did not. I see EAS Central Ohio and Michigan ended up getting a WR11. With this pretty familiar looking setup. So close, but I'll take 4 of a kind. How do you know if it's a version 2 or version 1? Radio there. Of course, it didn't come with batteries. And then I see he so I see there's all the tests that he got while he on his security camera. And then this is oh yeah, this is the one that has Charleston and all this other stuff. And then it wasn't until here where KG86 finally relays the test. I see Lightning Bolt got one of the New York snow squall warnings. But we're gonna also take care of everything else on the other side because I know I just wanna end the show and do whatever else I want to take care of tonight. Oh, okay, proceed, I guess. I see why. I see why it was something he said within the video that ended up getting it, but I'm not gonna say anything. So I see you got some new radios. Or did you get just one? Let's see. It's that Greecom. What was it? Greecom. Yeah, so I just unboxed the a new Greecom scanner. Interesting. And then the Winter Storm Watch, and then a Winter Storm Watch for Northern Alabama. Piedmont region got the Winter Storm Watch for the upcoming winter storm. I see Lucas County. Lucas County got stuff related to the snow squalls, that happened on the 19th. I could have put these in, but I didn't know ahead of time. I did see the Quad Cities issued a couple snow squall warnings tonight. There were 2 of them here. And then Mahoney Valley, of course, got his weekly. This is Cleveland. This is not Pittsburgh. He didn't get Pittsburgh, of course. So that was his. And then Storm Tracker was doing some coverage or something. He was just showing off his old EAS videos and some other things too, including some of his adventure series, and from some of his friends, I believe, as well. Because it was on the PDS tornado warning from Lake Charles when I tuned in. So, CIECAS Mississippi got a Winter Storm Watch 2. I don't even know if Jackson even tested. I don't even know if they even did. But I don't think so. Judging by what I'm seeing. See that 5 come up. Almost. Alright, we got a lot to go through here. There's all the Southern PAWX stuff from earlier. It's just live cam. He's just showing the edge window, like showing the top of the edge dialog box of the edge window with the search bar and everything. They're just showing the search bar and everything. If I were to do that again, it would certainly be, I would certainly do better than that. CXP got the Florida monthly test. And then there was the very late Miami test from earlier today. He's just laughing at how late Miami was. And then the Tampa Weekly. And then there was the Carolina Elevators video from earlier, where it shows the Wilmington Weekly test from two angles, from outside and from inside. And here, if I put the speaker up to my ear, I can hear his radios on the other radios inside until we get closer when he mutes the siren. My God. And there was the same thing. Let's see, on the stream Daytona Beach. See, Mahoney got Pittsburgh's test in a completely different setting. What kind of RWT is this? KH35? Seems like there's no sound on it. There's like no sound in there. But it does seem like that all those radios did end up receiving KH35's test. And what is that, Weather Nation? On a separate TV? Dang. And then this is all... Wait a minute, what? Wait, what is that I see? A zone guard being held up by masking tape? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. A zone guard being held up on two different ends by masking tape on a marble surface. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that idea, but it's very clever that he tried. Very, very clever. Alright. So there we go. That is today's edition of Yahtzee. And we are just about done here tonight. We're going to finish playing catch up with these enthusiasts. And then of course we are through. So let's see. Yeah, here was Cleveland's test on multiple transmitters. Oh my gosh. And then TFM, whatever this is. I see Yoshi Fan acquired a... He got a version 1 WR300. Well, of course it's a version 1 because it has the statement because there's the statement text along with the same digital weather text on the bottom of the device. What's this? National anthem performance from last night. Oh my gosh, he performed the harmonica without anything else. Oh man. Okay. And then Northern Illinois premiered, finally got around to premiering this compilation from August 18th. If I remember, we did extensive coverage that day. And then it shows all the software he ends up using when he does his live streams or something else. So whatever that is, Tetris fan. And I see Southern PA tried some WMTA announcements. Now, actually, I'm actually thinking about putting WSPX as a new permanent replacement for KCWC, because I don't think, because I've let me see. Let me take a look. Let me take a look really quickly. When was the last time that KCWC ever ended up on my logger? Let me see here in WPLD ES-Log. Okay, KCWC. The last time it showed up was November 30th, and it has not showed up again ever since. Let me see if there were any changes made to it. I see we have some new URLs. I want to see what DEC-IP1 does, and I do see we have, I see we do have KXI58. Let me take a look at my monitor list here. Yeah, I do have the Plano stream, which, I mean, as you saw earlier, it works just fine. So let me take a look, and let me look through Plano and see. Yeah, so the Plano stream is working, so I don't need to make any changes there, but I just need to change the link for WNG536 DeKalb. I just need to change the URL on that, and then, of course, we'd be back, we'd be in business, because I want to use, because, of course, even leading up to the severe weather season, I need to use this opportunity to add any new stations into, well, any new weather radio stations into my monitor document, so that way when it comes time for severe weather season, then of course I'll have everything all ready to go at my disposal. Before we get to WSPX, some Metro announcements thing that he's starting to do. Heavy snow accumulation. There was this snow squall warning from the 19th. Whatever this is. You got KDK's weekly, and then DX the snow squall warning off of Sandusky, Ohio. Trying to wait for East Central Michigan RMT. Now, where did he get that? Where's that? I wonder what that program he used for that snow squall warning.
Now, where did that automatic scroll thing come up? Oh, it's probably just a screen reader reading it. And then this was Tampa Cox Media's test, which we don't do anymore. There was his video of the snow squalls. Oh, there was the Alex comment from Monday on the Meal or No Meal episode. I found the notification. And then I see he was replying to me about WTOP. I did respond to his all the Storm Tracker stuff, the MVP ID, our Minecraft show from Monday, the monthly test for Virginia. And some cold weather advisories, some elevators. Then he got and then let's see, he also got 3 snow squall warnings. Kahana County got a few of them as well, along with the recreation of a EBS message from September 18th of 1996, where there was almost a chemical spill there. And then here's Mahoney County's full compilation of the snow squall stuff. Yeah, that was his full collection. Oh gosh, what is this? Using Windows 10. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Another one of those crazy experiments I want to tell you about. Oh my gosh, it is crazy. All right, so I will get those. I will get those replacements. I will get those replacements taken care of here in the next few moments, and I'll have it all applied. And I will have them all applied. And I'll look through Broadcastify too, just as while I'm there, just to see if any other stations may have been added to either service since we last looked. Because I know it's been a while since I've last looked at either service, so I might want to take another look and see if there are any additional changes that might have been, any additional stations that may have been added since I last looked. All right, and so with that, that is going to be it for our show here tonight for our weekly test show. But of course, I want to thank Tom and Ben for, well, of course, being good members of our show as always. We always like having them here with us, joining us, and providing us support for the times when I'm not. Of course, while I'm getting ready for my evening class, and of course, even afterwards. So. But regardless, I want to thank them both, and we will have them back on our next show. So, and there we go. So, of course, we hope to see you all again on next week's show when we do this all over again. So, one more time. So, one final time before we... So, one final time before we go off the air is the schedule for the rest of this week. So, of course, tonight, here, let me go and mute the audio before I forget. So, tonight, I only have, so I've taken care of most of my shows now, so all I just need to take care of is the episode of The Perfect Line. That's going to air in couple of hours, actually, in just a couple of hours. I'll take care of that first thing tomorrow morning, right before I begin recording more episodes of Yahtzee. My goal with that show is 40 episodes per day, so my goal is to bring it up to 80 episodes before the day is done. So that's my goal: 40 episodes of Yahtzee. I'm surprised I was able to get this far with the show in just one day. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the kind of progress I make on the series. So again, I'm shooting for 40 episodes each week. So again, that's my goal: 40 episodes each week. And then of course I have my other evening class tomorrow night, which is going to be shorter than the other one, but still good to attend to. And then of course tomorrow night is when Scrabble and Trivial Pursuit return for their second season. I'm surprised they got renewed for a second season because I thought that I didn't know how well those ratings were going to do the first time because it was, I think it was early, was it early 2025? So it seems like both shows are going to be like a yearly thing. No, they premiered in like 2024. So it premiered in like 2024 and now we're doing it again in the spring. So I'm surprised that finally the CW renewed both of them for a second season, but I don't know how well they're going to do in the second season. I don't even know what the ratings were for the first season, what prompted them to, end up greenlighting it for another season. But I guess we'll have to see. So this is going to be exciting. Scrabble's getting another season, Trivial Pursuit's getting another season, but then I have a Thursday class that conflicts with it. So yeah, so I was thinking is well, here's the full plan. I'll take care of the Perfect Line first thing in the morning, then film Yahtzee episodes, and I'll go take care of Flipside that aired earlier tonight, and I will take care of what else was I going to do? Oh yeah, and of course I'll film more Yahtzee episodes prior to Jeopardy, and then I'll edit as many of those episodes as I can, and then later I will, and of course after I get back, we'll of course do our backyard baseball game. But what I was thinking in terms of shows is I would take care of Scrabble and, well, Wheel of Fortune and Scrabble, only the first half of which I would take care of live. I would take care of live while it's actually airing. And then, well, either the first half of it or just, I was thinking just do Scrabble in its entirety and then wait until I get back to start Trivial Pursuit, because I mean CW's commercial breaks, I think they're like 3 minutes. Because oh my god, it's just been so long since we've done the CW. I don't even remember how long their commercial breaks are. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna wait until I get back to take care of Trivial Pursuit, where of course, so I'll start from, of course I'll start it from the beginning, and then of course I'll start it from the beginning, and then go along all the way to the end, joining the broadcast live where possible. And of course, I will start the backyard baseball game for tomorrow night before I end up watching that show. And then I'm debating as to whether or not I want to take care of the Perfect Line as well that night. But again, I got to pay very close attention to the game because I don't want to miss the, I don't want to miss the ending cue. So I'm thinking I'll just do Trivial Pursuit and then wait on everything else until tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking, personally. Well, not tomorrow, but Friday. I should say Friday. Yeah, tomorrow, but that's the thing. So then, of course, after the ball game is over, I'm sure MVG is going to go live for the Showcase Beatdown, which I'll watch, and then I will also put together the rest of the Yahtzee episodes for the day. And then I will, then I guess that'll be it for then. And then I'm looking to get 13 more episodes of Play 9 made. And then that will hopefully get that series going even further. Yeah, that will get that series going further. Well, actually, I do have some news regarding Play 9. I actually want to bring up the news before we go. In terms of Play 9, we actually might have to suspend production on the show for the week. Well, this is because, well, my father is probably going to have school called off because of the extreme cold that's coming. I mean, my college was already called off earlier today, but we're going to wait and see what his school says. But assuming it's going to be closed off for the day, we are planning on postponing Play 9 production for the week. We're planning on postponing production. But at the same time, I mean, this is one of those shows where we use the desktop audio, so I mean, where it just goes over my voice. But still, I think it's best that I just hold off on production for the week. So, I mean, this is kind of an inconvenience because, I mean, I really wanted to get production done on the 6th. So, it looks like then the 13th might then be where we officially draw the line on the show. You know, where I then bring the show to the finish line. Or, if I end up completing, or let's say I end up completing all 105 episodes of 5th Grader, or maybe I was thinking of something else. When we complete 5th Grader season, season 2, the first half on the 2nd, before I transition to the DS game, of course I gotta test it out, make sure it all correctly works, and you know, I can master it and everything. I was thinking then maybe we can end up recording more episodes of Play 9 and, you know, sort of get caught up with the time remaining. I think that's a good idea. Because then the following week I can just go on recording more and more of the episodes, and I only have to put together 5 of them, and then, you know, I can just move on rendering from there. So, with that being the case, remember what I said about, you know, filling in that slot with episodes of Sorry? That's what I'm looking to do. Take the entire Play 9 time slot and replace it with Sorry episodes to take up the entire day. You know, just to give Sorry a little bit of a head start, you know, prior to putting them together when we get to the fall. So, yeah, so I guess that's the only bit of news I wanted to pass along in regards to the spring taping cycle. And with that is it then for our weekly test show. So again, thank you all for joining us here today. And of course, I want to thank all of our special guests who have joined us today too. Of course, Brian Schlick was with us. I know Austin Vance couldn't join us today. But again, he has plans. Brandon couldn't join us today either. But that's fine. He has plans of his own too. Who else? Dimitri, Andrew Durno, of course, those guys. We can't forget about them. Of course, it's those that of course keeps the show going. So we will be back tomorrow night, for our backyard baseball game, which of course we will start between. I'm hoping to start it by around 8 p.m. So I'm hoping to start it around then. If not, sometime after that. But anywhere between 8 and 9 mostly. So mainly. So of course, you know, I'll start the ball game, and then I'll go take care of Trivial Pursuit while the game's airing. And then, of course, since the game usually lasts about an hour, I believe I'll be able to take care of both of those shows prior to that time. So, but I'll remote into the PC to check on the progress, and then when I see that it's on the end screen, then of course that's when I'll just go up, stop the stream, and then I will finish up the perfect line, and then of course that's when I will transition everything to the info center and everything like that. So, so that's what we got tomorrow, and then of course our Friday Fun Night show, that's not going to change at all, except for the Play 9 tapings, as I have said. So with that, and then Saturday we are just going to go on as normal, but of course the street polls will go up tomorrow, so of course you'll all have your time to vote. So with that is it then. We are done for tonight. So again, thanks to all our special guests who have joined us today, and of course we look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow night for our backyard baseball game, and then of course Friday for our Fun Night show. But until then, I'm Mr. Planfald. You've been watching the Weekly Test Wednesday show, and from all of us here at Playfield TV, we wish all of you a very pleasant good night.